Good evening, it's Adam here again with another quick instant movie review for you. So, sometimes as a film critic, this is me moving my seat back. Sometimes as a film critic, you see things that may touch you in a way or have an effect on you in a particular way that might potentially sway your opinion a little bit more. Look, being a critic is subjective anyway, so my opinion might not reflect the opinion that you might have of a motion picture, for instance. But tonight, with the film that I saw, it had a full resonance in me that made me track back my life, because the subject matter of tonight's film really plays on a good 38 years of my life that was pretty much just shown to me up on screen. So tonight, that film was John Farnham, Finding the Voice. Now, this is from Australian and first-time documentary filmmaker Poppy Stockell. Now, Poppy, my understanding from the Q&A that we experienced tonight with Poppy is that Poppy had some funding all lined up for another documentary that all fell through, and the subject matter all fell through during COVID or leading up to COVID. And in 2021, she then got offered the opportunity to make a documentary on John Farnham, and she said, yeah, I'll transfer all that across and focus on John Farnham. Now, Poppy was not a big Farnham fan. She didn't really grow up listening to John Farnham. She was more involved with other music that she was more interested in different things. So John Farnham was a subject matter that she had to dig into to try and work a little bit out. And the way that she did it is that she focused more on, as she started to go through some archives and some stuff that Glenn Wheatley, the longtime manager of John Farnham, was pushing really hard to get a doco made on John. For Poppy, she ignored the fandom, a lot of the fandom, and focused on the hero's journey. And that's what she discovered, because that's what she was looking at the time when she was doing her study and her time formalizing what she was going to have from a documentary point of view. So she got John Farnham. And if you don't know who John Farnham is one of Australia's most loved and beloved Australian icons of the Australian music industry. John has an album which still holds the record as the highest selling and longest standing album on the Australian music charts ever. His breakout song Sadie went to number one progressively during the 1960s and early 70s. I think it was 71 potentially. And it was this real sort of, it was really just a character piece. It was almost a caricature, kind of a vaudeville kind of a song, which Australians somehow just fell in love with, because it was very along the lines of Cliff Richard, I suppose. And this story, and then it tracks through to John's massive comeback, which was the 1986 smash that was Whispering Jack, and the stories behind that, and how his manager Glenn Wheatley and himself basically put everything on the line to make an album that went on to become what it is, which is iconic. So for Poppy, she did follow this hero's journey, and she learned very quickly about John's journey and just actually how much resonance it has, looking at, a lot of stuff. I mean, John had lots of stuff going on in his life, but interesting things, like his battle with addiction, his battle with, with the notorious bad manager, from one bad manager to another bad manager, to finding clarity and really finding his voice in that of Glenn Wheatley, who was, quite disillusioned with a lot of stuff himself. And, tonight, what I saw was not a super fan film, and it would have been really easy to go, I'm going to make a super fan film of John Farnham because I'm just a massive fan. So I'm going to show everything that I love about John in amazing light. I'm going to chuck as many great clips of him, through, I'm going to track through the albums. I'm going to Whispering Jack. I'm going to go Age of Reason. I'm going to go, Last Time. I'm going to go Jack of Hearts. I'm going to go through all the albums, and I'm going to just fanboy it up here, fangirl it up, fan it up. And Poppy chose very much not to do that. And of course, this film also plays on the fact that recent events with John Farnham just happened to have played into the documentary. So it wasn't set out to be something that was going to be an in memorandum piece or for anyone involved in this film or the subject matter or where it was progressing to. It just happened to be that way as things were progressing with John Farnham's story. And what a phenomenal piece of filmmaking, because it is not sentimental so much, and this is not a journey of, oh, what a shame. This is a journey of someone who has held on by the skin of his teeth throughout the entirety of his musical career, and has had people that have known how good he is, but that he just did not get that second chance. And this is about an Australian icon who, iconically got that second chance and just blew up. So it's a fantastic film. I mean, it's just a great film. It's got a great story thread through it. The back end of this about how Glenn Wheatley's wife was an instrumental part of this film coming together when her husband was pushing so very hard to get it made. How John was fine when we went into production on that film, but where subsequently things are at the moment, and interviews with Olivia Newton-John before her passing. This film is just special, and it moves you on a level because the back now of John's story and what actually happened in the background to get where he actually got to, and how on the wire things really were in so many levels, and now where we're at with this icon. And my only hope with this film is that you see it on the biggest screen possible. This is getting a big screen release, and this is a film that needs to be seen in a cinema, because that is where John shines as a performer, is on the biggest stage possible, or the biggest screen. I've seen John Farnham 8 times. I'm not going to lie, I'm a fan. But you need to see this and hear the music and feel the story and feel the energy coming off the screen of the interviews, of the story, of the passion that people have for this person who deserved everything that they got through the best part. And that's the beautiful clincher in this, is that to hear his family talk about that, it wouldn't have changed a day of where things got to because of where he ended up and the dream that he was experiencing when he got there. And bless. So thank you so much, Poppy, for making this movie. And I hope that everyone sees this in a cinema and celebrates something. You don't have to be a John Farnham fan, but just celebrates a success of someone who deserved it, and the trials and tribulations that happen along the way. It's just a great story. This is our Bohemian Rhapsody, but a better version of that film, and it's real. So if you want to put that on your poster, go for it. But that's my endorsement. This is the film that is made for Australians, about Australian music industry, that is real, true and honest, and I loved every minute of it. And thank you, Poppy, so much. So Finding the Voice for me gets 9 out of 10. It's one of my favourite films of this year, and it's certainly my favourite documentary of this year. So do see it in the cinema if you can. All right, have a great night. You're the voice.